Hey everyone, ready for an Italian adventure.
Oh, yeah, always.
But this time, we're ditching the tourist traps.
Okay, I like where this is going.
We're going deep into Murano.
Verano.
It's a hidden gem in northern Italy.
Hmm, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Imagine a place where you can wander past medieval German architecture,
Okay, I'm picturing it.
then grab a plate of pasta and listen to locals switch between Italian and German.
Wow, a real cultural blend.
Exactly. That's the magic of Murano. And we're using a newsletter from Love to Visit Italy as our guide.
Sounds like a good one. They call Murano the Pearl of the Alto Adige. And for good reason.
I can see why it's not just a pretty place, though, right?
Right, there's a real depth to the region that comes from a fascinating history.
Speaking of history, the newsletter mentioned that Murano's 40,000 residents speak both German and Italian. What's it like living in a place with such a distinct cultural mix?
Well, think about it. Daily conversations switching between languages.
Yeah.
Families blending culinary traditions, a fusion of architecture and art.
So it's more than just language. It's like the whole culture is blended.
Exactly. It creates this vibrant energy that's hard to find elsewhere.
And you feel it as soon as you arrive.
Absolutely.
The newsletter emphasizes that to really get under the skin of Murano, you need to look beyond the typical tourist sites.
Yeah, you really do.
It says we should try to catch the essence of a historical city in its daily activities and inner traditions.
That's interesting.
It sounds pretty intriguing, but also a bit challenging. How can we, as visitors, even begin to approach that?
Well, it's about slowing down, observing, and engaging.
Instead of rushing from one landmark to the next.
Exactly. Spend time in local cafes,
Right.
wander through the markets, strike up conversations with people.
Just soak it in.
You'll be surprised how much you can learn about a place just by observing the rhythm of daily life.
I like that, observing the rhythm.
Yeah.
You know, the newsletter mentioned something that really caught my eye.
Oh, it's that.
It talks about a geological treasure trove hidden beneath the Murano 2000 skiing and hiking resort.
Really?
What exactly is hidden beneath the resort? Is it fossils? Unique rock formations? You've got me hooked.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It is. What's down there?
We're talking about layers of rock formations that tell the story of this region's geological past.
Wow.
Millions of years of history.
So not just human history, but Earth history.
Exactly. These formations can reveal ancient climates, tectonic shifts, even the presence of prehistoric life.
So it really is a treasure trove.
Like a hidden time capsule just waiting to be explored.
Now we're talking. I love that we're not just focusing on what's on the surface. It's like peeling back the layers of history and getting a glimpse into Murano's deeper story.
Exactly. And speaking of layers, Murano isn't the only Italian gem worth exploring.
Oh. What else is there?
The newsletter also highlighted Umbria.
Umbria, I've heard of it.
It's called the Green Heart of Italy, known for its rolling hills and charming villages.
Ah, so a very different vibe than bustling Murano.
Yeah, imagine trading that bustling energy for the tranquil landscapes of Umbria.
A nice change of pace.
It's like experiencing two different sides of Italy.
And I see they recommend checking out Perugia and Assisi in Umbria. What makes those places so special?
Well, Perugia has a lively art scene and hosts the annual Umbria Jazz Festival.
Okay, so for music lovers?
Exactly. And then there's Assisi, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's home to the Basilica of St. Francis.
I've heard of that.
Imagine standing in a place with such profound religious and historical significance,
Yeah.
surrounded by breathtaking frescoes. It's an experience that stays with you.
Okay, enough about history and art for a minute.
What, are you hungry?
Maybe a little. We are in Italy, after all. The newsletter mentioned crescentine flatbreads cooked in special tigelle molds. Have you ever tried them?
I have. And they're delicious. Imagine a slightly crispy flatbread, fresh out of these small terracotta molds, served warm,
Ooh, yeah.
with all sorts of savory toppings. It's a simple but delicious taste of rustic Italian cuisine.
You're making me hungry. I always find that exploring a place through its food is one of the best ways to connect with the local culture. What else should we be looking for in terms of unique culinary experiences in Murano?
Well, Murano's cuisine is a delicious blend of those German and Italian influences we were talking about earlier.
Right, that cultural fusion.
So you'll find hearty Alpine-inspired dishes alongside lighter Mediterranean flavors.
Ooh, that sounds intriguing. Can you give us some examples? I'm already making a list of must-try dishes.
Absolutely. For breakfast, you could start with a traditional South Tyrolean spread.
Like what?
Think speck, a type of smoked prosciutto, along with fresh bread and local cheeses.
Sounds amazing. But what about lunch and dinner? What dishes would you recommend to someone who wants to experience that unique fusion of German and Italian flavors?
Well, you can't go wrong with Schutzkrapfen.
Schultzkopfen, what's that?
These are half-moon-shaped ravioli filled with ricotta cheese and spinach, and they're typically served with melted butter and Parmesan cheese. It's a comforting, home-style dish that really embodies the region's culinary heritage.
I'm adding that to my list. And since we're talking about food, we can't forget about drinks. Is there a local beverage that captures that Murano spirit?
If you're looking for something uniquely Murano, try a Hugo Spritz.
Okay, a Hugo Spritz.
It's a refreshing cocktail made with Prosecco, elderflower syrup, mint, and soda water.
Ooh, I like elderflower. What does it taste like overall?
Imagine yourself sipping this on a warm afternoon, surrounded by the Italian Alps.
Sounds refreshing.
Pure bliss.
You paint a pretty convincing picture. I'm almost ready to book a flight right now. But seriously, it's fascinating to delve into these details that give a place its character. I think we're getting a real sense of what makes Murano so special.
And remember that geological treasure trove we talked about earlier.
Yes, I'm dying to know more about what's hidden beneath that ski resort. What kind of stories do those rock formations tell?
We're talking about millions of years of geological history. It's like a giant puzzle, piecing together the history of the Earth from these fragmented clues. You might find evidence of ancient climates, tectonic shifts, or even the presence of prehistoric life. It's like taking a step back in time, right there beneath a modern ski resort.
Wow, that's amazing. So much history beneath our feet.
Exactly.
I'm starting to understand what the newsletter meant by experiencing Murano like a local. It's about going beyond the surface, appreciating the layers of history and culture that make this place unique.
Exactly. And speaking of appreciating the local experience, the newsletter also highlighted some experiences likely to sell out in 2024.
Oh, interesting. What kind of experiences?
Culinary tours and cooking classes are in high demand. It seems people want to go beyond just eating Italian food.
They want to make it themselves.
Yeah, they want to learn how to make it themselves, to connect with those local traditions on a deeper level.
That makes sense. It's like bringing a piece of Italy back home with you.
Right. Guided hikes and outdoor adventures are also incredibly popular. Italy has such diverse landscapes to explore.
It's amazing how much ground we've covered just by following the threads of this newsletter. We started with Murano, then explored Umbria, and now we're talking about Italian tourism trends. It just goes to show how interconnected these experiences can be.
And that's the beauty of exploration, isn't it?
Yeah.
You start with one specific place, but it opens up a world of possibilities and connections. So after all of this, what has resonated with you the most about Murano? What has piqued your curiosity?
I'm fascinated by those layers of history you mentioned, the modern city built upon ancient geological formations, the blending of German and Italian cultures. It makes me want to explore those layers to see how they manifest in the architecture, the food, the daily life of the people.
That's a wonderful perspective. It's about recognizing that every place has a past, a present, and a future, all intertwined in this complex and fascinating tapestry.
Beautifully said. Okay, so we've talked about Murano's unique culture, delicious food, and even some broader trends in Italian tourism.
Before we move on, I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder. Imagine yourself in Murano, immersed in its unique blend of cultures and surrounded by stunning alpine scenery. What experience would you seek out to truly capture the essence of this hidden gem?
Hmm, that's a tough one. There are so many great things about Murano that we've talked about.
I know, right? It's a tough choice.
Okay, so if you had to pick one experience, what would it be?
Well, for me, it would be a leisurely stroll along the Tappenerweg.
Tappinerweg.
It's this beautiful promenade winding through lush gardens,
Okay.
and it offers these panoramic views of the city and the surrounding mountains.
So you're surrounded by nature, but still close to the city.
Exactly. It's the best of both worlds. You can immerse yourself in the beauty of nature, but you're still close to the heart of Murano.
And I bet those views are just incredible.
Absolutely. And along the way, you'd pass by historical landmarks, charming cafes,
Right.
maybe even stumble upon a local market.
So you can really get a feel for the local life.